Jesus was a catchphrase, especially growing up in an inner city, urban environment. You know, most of us have a grandmother, a praying grandmother. And of course I had that. You know, my grandmother, though she was no theologian by any means, she would talk about Jesus. And it wasn't in depth. It was, you know, you need to call on Jesus, you need to trust Jesus, or he's always on time, and a lot of these catchphrases. And so I kind of grew up hearing about them and just hearing little tidbits like that. Nothing ever stuck, nothing ever clicked. It was like, you know, you hear these stories of David and Goliath and Jesus, and you mix it in with Gulliver's Travels or King Arthur, and, you know, so it's just kind of all these little tales and stories that you don't know what's real and what's not, but realistically, you don't know how they directly affect or impact your life. And I wrestled internally really difficult, like really hard with the idea of Jesus, because I didn't see where he fit in with the world that I lived in. You know, I didn't see, like, where could Jesus fit in? You know, it's drugs out here, it's crime out here, it's people hurting out here, it's people starving out here. Everybody wants to be a gang member. Everybody wants to be the hardest person in the world. Like, where is there room for Jesus? And I didn't see where he could fit in the picture. So even though I needed him, and you gotta trust Jesus, call on Jesus, it wasn't until there was some drama or some problem where it was like, oh, well, maybe I should try Jesus or trust Jesus. And then at 19, I started to really realize that one of the scariest things that hit me was, wow, I have to do something with my life. You know, like, I'm in control of this life. And that gave me, I was scared of that, like really literally scared, like, to be in control of my life. Because I didn't know what I was gonna do with it. I didn't know what direction I was gonna take it in. I didn't, like, you know, it brought about an anxiety in me. And so, so then I was a little more curious into knowing, okay, what about God? What is God? How does God play into all this stuff? And so I was a little more curious and wanted to know how Jesus and God fit, and ran into some guys who looked like me, dressed like me, talked like me. But there was something distinctively different about them, and I couldn't figure out what exactly it was. Part of it was, I think their interaction was natural and it was loving, but they looked like me and they dressed like me, and something was strange about that. They didn't have foul mouths, and so there was an attraction to being around these guys and hanging with them. I'm in a new environment, and so I'm like, well, I'll hang out with these guys, and what it came down to was that they were Christians, and so off and on, they would make sure they spend time with me, and eventually they took me to Atlanta to a conference with them, and I just wanted to go to Atlanta, and I heard the clearest gospel presentation I probably ever heard, and heard, as the scripture says, that I was bought with a price, and it rocked me, and I realized that I was in need. There was a deficit in me. There was an emptiness, and there was something that was wrong with me, and I realized that ooh, getting choked up. I realized that I needed Jesus. I realized that I was hurt, that I had hurt him, and that and I wanted his forgiveness so bad. I wanted his forgiveness. I wanted him to accept me. I wanted him to know me. I wanted to know him, and it crushed me. And I remember falling to my knees in that moment of realization and just saying, God, I'm sorry. Can you please accept me? Please forgive me. And he did, and I'm here.